There is a concept from the world of theoretical biology that has profound implications for how we think about the future. It's called the adjacent possible, and the idea is this: at any moment, the universe of what can happen next is not infinite. It is a finite set of possibilities, a fringe of novelty that is directly accessible from where you are right now. Think of it like a house. You are in a room, and that room is filled with your current reality, your tools, your skills, your knowledge. The adjacent possible is the set of all the other rooms you could enter through the doors in your current room. You can't leap to the attic from the basement. You can only move to an adjacent room. This isn't a limitation, it is the engine of all creation, and it teaches us that true innovation is not an act of radical, out-of-the-blue invention. It is an act of exploration. There is no better illustration of this than the birth of a platform that now defines the modern internet, YouTube. If you had described YouTube to someone in 1995, it would have sounded like pure science fiction. A global library of instantly accessible video, uploaded by anyone for free? It was an impossible leap. It was a room in a part of the house that hadn't even been built yet. But by 2005, the house had changed. Let's look at the doors that had quietly opened, creating the adjacent possible for YouTube. First, the internet itself had to become a common utility. That was the first room. Second, for video to be viable, you needed broadband internet to become widespread. Dial-up was a door that led nowhere for video. The mass adoption of high-speed internet was the door to the next room. Third, people needed a way to create the content. The rise of affordable, consumer-grade digital cameras and camcorders was another crucial door. Suddenly, millions of people had a video studio in their pocket. But there was one final, critical door. The problem in the early 2000s was that web video was a chaotic mess of competing, incompatible formats. You needed Real Player or Windows Media Player or QuickTime, and half the time it didn't work. The experience was terrible. The final door was a piece of technology that most of us have forgotten: Adobe Flash. Flash provided a simple, near-universal plugin that could play video inside any web browser, on any operating system. In early 2005, all of these doors stood open at the same time. The technological, social, and economic conditions had created a new, unexplored room. The possibility of a simple, universal video-sharing website was no longer science fiction, it was the adjacent possible. The founders of YouTube, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim, were not magicians. They didn't invent broadband or digital cameras or Flash. They were simply the people standing in the hallway who noticed that all these doors were now unlocked. Their genius was not in making an impossible leap into the future. It was in recognizing the potential of the room that had just become available. They stepped through the door. This story dismantles the myth of the lone genius who conjures a revolution from nothing. It tells us that progress is not a series of grand leaps, but a patient exploration of the adjacent. Every new invention, every new idea, opens up a new set of doors, creating a new adjacent possible for the next wave of innovators. This applies to our own lives. We often get paralyzed because we are trying to imagine a solution that is 10 rooms away, without seeing the doors that are right in front of us. We want to be in the attic, but we're still in the basement. The lesson of the adjacent possible is to stop trying to predict the future. Instead, survey your current room. What are the tools you have right now? What are the skills you possess? What are the connections you've made? These things are your doors. The most powerful question you can ask is not, what is my ultimate goal, but what has just become possible?